Now we come to somebody who some of you might have seen during the week because she's been encouraging you to bake. You will recognise her, of course, from Bake Off. You'll also recognise her from many of her other TV presenting roles, and she's on the line hopefully right now. We're going to put her up hopefully. I can say hello to Briony Williams. Hello, Briony.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, how are you?
Normally it would be great for you. You'd be able to just come down to us there in Bristol, just come down to the Marriott and you'd have been there, it'd been easy. But I suppose this is even easier from your house.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's quite easy, but, you know, I like to get out, so it's a bit of a shame, but very happy to be here.
Well, Briony, we're going to have loads of questions, I know, coming up. But first of all, congratulations on the guiding people throughout the week. And I think we've actually had a few pictures that have been posted because that's what we wanted people to do. So hopefully with a bit of technology, we're going to be a little bit like the generation game where you're going to give us your feedback on how well they've done. Now, be nice. Don't be like Bruce. OK. So we've got the first one there. I don't know if you can see that. They look fabulous, don't they? I love that. Looking in the in the oven, waiting for them to bake.
It's brilliant. That's so Bake Off. I love it. Yeah, that's little James. I think he did such a good job making the cupcakes. And yeah, look at him. He's so Bake Off there, looking in the oven.
Yeah, and he's doing the right thing, not looking in the oven, isn't he?
Yeah. And that pizza looks amazing.
And this I believe is Ella Dickinson, and
yes,
again that looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah, she's done an amazing job. So good. I'm so pleased people have given it a go.
Good, because it was a great thing. You know, again, we heard a lot during lockdown and things about people getting into baking. And for you, it must be lovely. I mean, you're doing so much work around all of your baking and cooking and chefing and presenting and so on. It must be lovely that people have been inspired during this time to actually get back to basics and start cooking, provided, of course, we can find flour in our supermarkets.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, it's wonderful that everyone's been baking. Lots of people have been making banana bread and sourdough and all sorts. And I just think it's wonderful that, you know, kids are getting involved, all the families are getting involved, and baking's such an awesome skill and such an important skill. And I think that's something that Bake Off has really brought back to the forefront for a lot of younger people. They can be really fun to bake, and it can be an incredible thing to do. So yeah, if we can take some positives out of lockdown, the fact that it's got families baking together is definitely one of them.
Now, for you, obviously there are hazards as soon as you come into contact with ovens, with hot plates and things. Are there any special kind of precautions? Is there anything that you do that you're aware of that's any different?
Do you know what? I don't do anything particularly different, I don't think, just because I just do it how I do it. Not that I think of, but it's things like if I'm rolling out pastry, because of my hand, sometimes it can be difficult to get it as flat and thin as I want it. So I've got this like marble rolling pin, which is really heavy. It wasn't mega expensive or anything. I think I got it from TK Maxx. But that helps really put the pressure on the pastry so it comes out lovely and thin. So yeah, that's definitely one of my top tips if you need help getting it flatter, which I always do.
And I'm sure you asked this in every single interview. Somebody has asked it, so let's deal with it. What's your favourite dish to cook?
You know what? I still am very much a big cake person. You know, I've started off baking cakes and I love it. So I think, yeah, for me, you can't really beat a traditional like Vicky sponge or a lovely chocolate cake. Those are definitely my favourites.
How's your carrot and walnut?
Oh, I make a mean carrot cake. That's actually my husband's favourite cake that I make. So yeah.
Brilliant. And I'm just looking to check any questions. And by the way, just to everybody at home, please do remember to send in your questions on Slido. You can do that. It's there on your right-hand side of the screen. So do pop them in there, and we would love to hear from you. But in the meantime, Briony, what are some of the projects you've got coming up? Because it, you know, to use that terrible cliche of strange times and differences and things, what are you up to at the moment?
So I'm currently filming for Food Unwrapped on Channel 4, which is a great programme. It's been going for years with Kate Quilton, Matt Tebbutt and Jimmy Doherty. We basically go around to loads of different food places, a factory or a farm, and we kind of investigate what, for example, like I did, like how do you mash a pea, and it turns out it's not with a big masher. It's actually with bicarbonate of soda, which I did not know. I've been to on a shellfish, on a boat with a guy called Crayfish Bob, talking about crayfish. I've been on a shrimp boat, and really fun, silly things. Actually, it's really informative. You learn quite a lot. I'm a fountain of really random knowledge about food now. So I've been doing that. Normally I'd be doing a lot of food festivals this year, but obviously that's not happened. And I've been doing some filming for something at Christmas called Spend It Well at Christmas, with Philip Schofield, which was good fun. Lots of bits and bobs going on, and just trying to enjoy it really. And it's really nice to be able to get back out and do some filming again after 6 months of not being able to do that.
And inevitably, again, there's a question coming in. And by the way, I saw Food Unwrapped last night. They were talking all about croissants. Really, really interesting how they make them. So it's a great programme. So looking forward to seeing you on it. What about the dishes for people who are just getting into cooking? Maybe you've got a young child and you want to get them started. What would be your recommendation?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a daughter, Nora, she's 5, and we love baking together. So I think for me, start off with something nice and simple like some scones or some shortbread, or, a basic sort of cupcake, something like that. And my top tip for baking with kids, especially younger kids, is if you can, is pre-weigh out all the ingredients before. So you've kind of got it all there ready, so they can literally just chuck it in, because that's Nora's favourite bit. And when you're trying to weigh out exactly 300 grams of something with a 5-year-old, it's not going to happen. So just make sure you've got it all there ready. Spend 10 minutes setting it up before you start. Do it in little bursts. So get them involved in making the dough or the batter, and then give them a bit of a break to do something else, and then get them back in to do the decorating. But yeah, I think kids absolutely love it, and it's a chance to get a little bit messy, and they get cake at the end. So
what's not to like about that?
Exactly.
Just remind us, we had a question about your Christmas programme, when your next one's going to be. Just remind us the one that you're filming at the moment. When's that going to be on air? Do we know? Or which channel at least?
I mean, I wish I knew. So Food Unwrapped, we're basically just waiting for the new series to start, because it started pre-lockdown, but because we hadn't finished filming, they had to stop it. So we're just waiting for that to come back out. So it should hopefully be in the next couple of weeks. And then the Spend It Well one with Philip Schofield, that should be on, I think, in the first couple of weeks of December.
Now, we've had a question from an 8-year-old, and they're saying, when is the best time to actually start baking? When did you start baking? And I have a sneaky feeling it was probably before 8.
Do you know what? It wasn't. I did a little bit of baking with my mum and my nan when I was a kid, but not loads and loads. I actually only started baking properly 7 years ago. So, but I really do think there's so much value in especially when you're young. So 8's the perfect time to start baking, because you can really build those skills. And if you look at the kids on Junior Bake Off, I mean, they are phenomenal bakers, way better than me, and they're 14, I mean, it's incredible. So if you start now, you can really build on those skills, and just have a load of fun with it. So yeah, get baking as young as possible, I say.
And I should ask you a little bit about your involvement with Reach and the Reach family. So how did you hear about Reach, and when did you get involved, and so on?
Well, I was actually a member of Reach when I was a kid. So it's really extra special to me, because I have such fond memories of going to, the family fun days and meeting other children with a hand like mine or similar. And for me at that time, we didn't have social media. We didn't have, lots of representation on TV. So me and my mum and my family, it was really nice to interact with those children who looked the same as I did. And that was really important to me. And they did lovely things, like they sent me a recorder that I could play that had loads of little wire bits on it, which my mum was thrilled about. Who doesn't love the sound of a recorder? But it meant that I could get involved in school, and I could, be included in those things, which normally I'd find quite tricky. And things like they used to send me these special scissors for me to use, and just so many, you know, having that support for me and my family was just absolutely invaluable. So Reach holds a very special place in my heart.
No, that's absolutely great. And we've actually already had comments saying, please, can we see you again at future events? And when we're face to face, they'd love to see you. I can see a live baking class on stage in future years.
I'd love that. I would absolutely love that. I'll come back anytime.
Okay, we'll see what we can get organised and just make a huge amount of mess and let the hotel clear it up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Brilliant. And finally, just to wrap up, because we do need to move on, but looking at what you've done, you know, and all your various achievements, it's always interesting to, you know, we hear about family and we hear about, you know, what people have achieved throughout their lives. What about you? What are some of your standout moments? Maybe ones that would surprise us.
Gosh. I don't know. It's silly things like tying my shoelaces was always a big achievement. You know, being able to tie my shoelaces. I learned to tie my shoelaces at the same time as my older brother, who has 2 fully functioning hands. So I'm always very proud of that. I was head girl at school. That's one of my, you know, big achievements. And Bake Off. I mean, it's not surprising, but to have got to get on Bake Off and to get as far as I did, for me, is just a phenomenal achievement. I never thought I'd get on in the first place.
Well, Briony, it's been absolutely fantastic chatting to you. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. Thank you for your inspiration during the week as well. That was absolutely great, and we saw the results of it up there, which was fabulous. And
thank you for having me.
I know people have thoroughly enjoyed listening to you today, so thank you very much. Briony Williams, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Brilliant.